You're listening to the Spring Break Money Coach School, a special series from the Wander Wealthy podcast. My name is Tess Wicks. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today. I am so excited to welcome you to the Spring Break Money Coach School. This is a series of 13 episodes, which have been the most listened to and highly valued episodes from the Wander Wealthy podcast over the last 2 years. I have taken the time to make sure to put these episodes in a specific order for anyone who is either looking to refresh yourself on what's important about building a life-changing money coaching program, selling, marketing, and getting your money coaching business off of the ground and booked out, or for those who are brand new to the show and looking for some guidance. These are the episodes to listen to, and I would highly recommend, if you are not at the very first Spring Break Money Coach School episode in the series, scroll back on your podcast player and go start with the one that is sharing my story. That is the first one to tune into so you can see how it all goes down, what I'm all about, and what I bring as a money coach to this space. Now, while you're listening, just a little announcement. I am going on maternity leave in the fall of 2022, which means the Wealthy Coach Blueprint is not open for enrollment. So even if you hear me announce that in one of these episodes, I just want to let you know that we are not open for enrollment, but what you can do is get on the wait list for 2023 enrollment periods. In the meantime, I would definitely suggest for you to check out the pricing formula, which you can find at wanderwealthy.com/pricing. If you're struggling with pricing your services and not really sure what a package would look like and how you would price a coaching package, that is the guidebook, calculator, and little mini trainings that you need to get that all sorted out. Another way that we can quote unquote work together with a wink is by you getting access to the Client Attraction Content Matrix. This is a quick mini course that's going to teach you my secret sauce to creating content that converts. Whether you want to create TikToks or Instagram Reels, stories, posts, videos, even for YouTube or podcast episodes, even blog posts, this matrix is going to change your business. Because when it comes to creating content, you need to make sure that you're creating content that speaks to your audience and then gets them to turn into paying clients. So you can get access to that by heading to wanderwealthy.com/content. And if you want a very special deal, get your hands on the pricing formula first, and you might just get a very special discount to the matrix, as well as a special treat in between that teaches you all about my simple sales strategy. So wanderwealthy.com/pricing to get your hands on the formula, and wanderwealthy.com/content if you're just interested in the content matrix. And those are some ways that we can continue to work together over the next handful of months. Thanks again for tuning in to the Spring Break Money Coach School. Now, without further ado, let's get into this week's episode for this amazing series. Hello, my loves. Welcome back to another episode of the Wander Wealthy podcast. My name is Tess Wicks. I am your host, founder of Wander Wealthy, and business coach to all of my amazing and fellow money coaches, wealth coaches, and financial coaches of the world. If you are a new coach, or you're an aspiring coach, or you have been doing your coaching business for a few months, maybe a couple years, but you're frustrated with the progress that you've been making, you haven't been able to get much traction or get a lot of paying clients, or you're doubting the sustainability of this business, then this is the perfect place for you, my friend. Today, we're going to be talking about something that I definitely needed to hear in the early days of building my coaching business, which is comparing the $100 passive, quote unquote, income course with the $1,000 money coaching program. Okay. So this is something that I definitely need to hear. And in my work, working with my clients, even just talking to some of you who are money coaches or aspiring or have been doing it for a while, this is something that I hear come up a lot is, people who are either stuck between the two or have been doing coaching but are kind of initially disregarding the value that can come from one-to-one high-touch coaching and immediately starting to go, no, I need to go into a passive income course. So I want to talk about and compare the two today and also dive into, when is the right time to change between the two, and just share also my own experience, because I made some big mistakes and big assumptions which led to mistakes around kind of these two very different business models. And sure, you can have a business model that encompasses the two, but I'm going to also talk and touch on that as well. But before I dive into this week's topic, I want to share about who is sponsoring this week's episode. And the sponsor is, drumroll please, my coaching program, the Wealthy Coach Blueprint. So I developed the Wealthy Coach Blueprint after I had a handful of money coaches come in my way asking me how I was able to build my booked out money coaching business. So if you don't know, if you're new here, I had been running a money coaching, first it was like a personal finance education platform, and then it turned into a money coaching business for over 4 years. And more recently, I have stepped into the role of a business coach for money coaches because I believe we need desperately more money coaches in the world. There are so many people who can use your help, your service, and the amazing value that you can bring to them. And I want to help you build your business, and not only build your business, but build and create your life-changing coaching program. Find the perfect clients who are ready and willing to pay for that program. Learn how to create content and market for those people so that you can create magnetic content and become a magnetic coach, so they just want to hurl their credit cards at you, or, debit cards, because if we don't want them to put it on credit. And ultimately, how to deliver and delight upon that so that you can build a thriving, booked out coaching business and live the life that you have been dreaming of or wanting to when, it's just a nice benefit of building your own business. So if that's something that you are interested in, then I invite you to jump on the waitlist. Enrollment for the program is currently closed because we are in the middle of a round of running the blueprint, but enrollment is going to be opening in August of 2020, depending on when you're listening to this. So come August, if you get on the waitlist, you will be one of the first to know when enrollment is open, which gives you first priority to jump on a call with me so that we can find out if you are the perfect fit for the program. You can ask me all the questions you have, and we can talk about your goals. And you're going to get first opportunity to get into the program, because I also like to cap it at a certain number of people who can join the program at any given round. And the reason for that is so that I can give you all the love and support that you deserve in building your business. So obviously there is only one of me and my time is capped. And so I want to make sure that I can give you everything you need inside of the container of the 3 months or the 12 weeks of coaching. So don't miss out on this. Go to wanderwealthy.com/apply, jump on the wait list, and you will be the first to know when enrollment opens in August, and maybe even a little sooner than that. You'll just have to wait and find out. So without further ado, that is our sponsor for the day. Thank you, Wealthy Coach Blueprint. We appreciate it. Let's talk about the $100 quote unquote passive income online course versus the $1,000 coaching program. And let it be known from the forefront, these numbers, these price points, they are completely arbitrary, but I think that they're very important because they just showcase the massive difference, not only in, income that you would be making based on each individual sale that you would be making, but also perceived value from people who would be hiring you, and also potentially actual value that you would be delivering through it. So I just wanted to put a price point on that, but honestly, it could be like a $300 course or even a $500 course compared to a $1,000 coaching package, $5,000 coaching package, heck, $10,000 coaching package. I mean, coaching packages run the gamut. There's more than $10,000 even, but let's just start off with going 100 versus 1,000 so you can have some nice round numbers. Now, I wanted to talk about this and first and foremost share my story. And if you haven't listened to the podcast where I share how to become a money coach, go ahead and head back and listen to that. Or after you get done with this episode, go listen to that episode because it'll give you a little bit more information on my background and the steps I had to go through, because I did not build my coaching business in the way that I specifically teach you to build your coaching business when it comes to the blueprint, right? Like, it took me years to build my money coaching business because I got all distracted and made a lot of assumptions that led to a lot of mistakes that then obviously took me down a much more longer winding road. So now, as I stand at the top of the mountain that you need to climb, looking down, I can see that direct path, and I want to get you on that path with me instead of following the path I took, which was, oh my gosh, I can't even tell you. I can't even explain it. It was long and winding and full of mistakes now that I look back. But hindsight is 20/20, right? That's what they say. So a major mistake that I made when I first started even thinking about money coaching or even about monetizing what I was originally doing. And just a little refresher, when I started out in the personal finance world, I really just started with the Words and Money podcast, which is this podcast, but it's the very beginning of this podcast in the early days where I would interview experts in the financial space and share my own personal story about, how I would manage my personal finances. And in those early days, that's all I knew. I knew I could create content. I knew I loved talking about money. And I knew that I wanted to help people like me who didn't have other, female financial role models. So that's what I was just doing, was creating content. But I really didn't know how I was going to monetize it. Originally, I thought, my podcast will make me a lot of money somehow through advertising, I think is what I thought. And then immediately when I started about thinking more along monetization strategies, I thought about affiliate marketing and creating an entire built out blog. I thought about becoming an influencer. And of course, I thought about online courses. And I definitely knew about coaching, but immediately I disregarded it and made an assumption that that was unsustainable and was going to be way too time consuming. And I wasn't going to get the bang for my buck or the bang for the time investment that I would put into it. And that is the biggest mistake I made from the onset, is I disregarded a high value, higher touch coaching experience. And I made an assumption that, that's not going to be sustainable in the long run. So I might as well just cut that off and go straight for the online passive income course. Because also in my process of thinking about monetization, I did what I think all of us do, which is think about, what's going to be the easiest way to monetize and how am I going to be able to remove myself from the equation the quickest? And I started looking at all of the other online marketers of the world, what everyone else was doing and what, they were at that time, and I think they still do this, what they were advertising and what they were selling, right? Selling you on how to make a 6-figure passive income online course and how to do it using webinars or Facebook ads or challenges or all these other tactics, right? And I started going, okay, yeah, that's something that I can do. I'm going to totally do that. And I'm going to make super easy money and I'm hardly going to have to work. And boy, oh boy, was I so wrong. And not only wrong in how much I'd have to work or the fact that the money would be super easy. And don't get me wrong, I believe that you can decrease your workload and making money can be very simple and it can come and flow to you easily. But that's a different story. And we're going to, talk about that maybe in a future episode. But at this time, I really thought like I wasn't going to have to put much output and I could make a ton of money just like by the snap of my fingers super easily, like all these other multi-6-figure business owners were promising me. And so this is where I see, I saw myself and I see a lot of my clients before they come to me getting stuck in the minutia of is seeing all of these multi-6-figure or even 7-figure business owners marketing their business building course online, sharing how you can build this same course. And I think that's amazing. I love that it offers such an expansion for everyone to see what is possible. But I think what happens is those marketers create these courses for you, and for me as well. I was in the same boat. And without recognizing, or without maybe touching on the back end work that they had to do to build to that point. And that's where I think a lot of people get lost is, okay, so we ultimately decide money coaching, one-to-one coaching, that's not going to work. That's not going to be sustainable. That's going to be too time consuming. And we might do it for like a couple of clients and then just kind of decide like, okay, I'm ready to create a course. And then we create the course, we put it out there, and a couple people buy. And because it's priced at $100 or even $300, but only a couple people buy, we're like, oh my gosh, this is not what I expected. One person bought or three people bought and I made $300, but like, how do I take this and actually turn it into multiple six figures like all these other online marketers promised me? And you get really frustrated, and then you either start over and create an entirely new online course, or you just give up altogether because you're like, this is way more work than I thought it was going to be. So my issue with a lot of the marketing and even courses that teach you how to build your own passive income online course is that I think they downplay the amount of work that really goes into it and the timeline that it really takes to build traction to make a livable wage off of selling a lower priced product like an online course. And so, yes, eventually that can be really passive, but you have to build the traction in the space. And that's where I always like to start from is most of my clients, including myself, we don't have tens of thousands of followers. We have a couple hundred or a couple thousand. And it is I can say, I stand here in front of you now saying that my clients, as well as myself, have booked out full-time money coaching businesses with just a couple of thousand of people in our network or just a couple hundred people in our network. But we built them not by selling a lower cost, lower touch online course. We built them through high touch one-to-one coaching. And yes, it is sustainable. And yes, it is scalable. And I firmly believe that that is where we need to start. Because if you only have a couple hundred people in your network, and let's say you have 100 people, okay? 100 people following you on Instagram, or 100 people in your network who are ideal clients, and you get 2 of them to decide, okay, I want to work with you. 2 of them who decide that they want to work with you, and you have this passive income course, you're going to generate, and if we're using the price points that I shared here with 100 or 1,000, with just 2 of them, you're going to generate $200. With 2 of them selling a higher touch money coaching program at $1,000, you're going to generate $2,000. It's significantly different. And I want to dive into some of the myths because I think this lends to the next thing. A lot of people make the mistake of thinking that it's way easier and more people are going to want to buy when you have something that's priced at 100 instead of 1,000. And we've seen it time and time again that is just not true. It is just as hard to sell something at a $100 price point as it is to sell something at a $1,000 price point, as it is to sell something at a $10,000 price point. You just got to decide what the value is there. And then, no matter what, it's going to take the same amount of time, energy, and effort to sell the thing. The only difference is when you sell something at a higher price point, you're probably going to not only have the experience from working with those people because of the value exchange that's involved to really more deeply understand what they need, which is going to make your ability to sell that program way easier and way better. Okay, so I want to dive into the truth about building a private coaching program, something that is a higher touch and higher valued program versus building a lower touch, because that's what an online course is it's low touch. Instead of, getting on the phone with someone every week or every month, it's low touch because you probably aren't getting on the phone with them hardly at all. So I want to dive into kind of the difference, but also the truth around this. So when your traction is low, you have a couple hundred or a couple thousand people in your network, then I always advise my clients to go deep instead of wide. And going deep is being willing to go deep in terms of high touch, because it breeds so many benefits for you, for your clients, and obviously for the revenue of your business as well. Going wide is more like trying to work with way more people, and more likely you're going to be doing that at a lower price point. And so that's going for more of the online passive income course product. Okay, so smaller audiences, when you have lower traction, meaning you have a smaller audience, that doesn't mean that you aren't able to monetize or that you're not even able to make a good income. So even if you have 100 people following along, there's a good chance that a percentage of them are your target audience and a portion of them would want to work with you. So in the example that I shared earlier, if 2 of them, because a good rule of thumb is like 2% of the people in your lead pool or in your audience, if 2%, or on average 2%, will ultimately become your clients if you are making an offer and selling, right? And so if 2% of 100 decide, okay, I'm going to buy your course, then that's $200 into your business versus 2% out of 100 that want to work with you in a one-on-one program that is higher value. That's $2,000 in your business, okay? So monetizing a smaller audience can be more profitable when you do it with a higher priced and higher touch offering. I just proved that here. And the other cool thing is that you don't have to wait until you have a big enough audience in order to make a $100 product super feasible. So I'm not saying that these online courses aren't feasible and aren't going to generate, a full-time income for you. There are plenty of people who do have, many more followers who are able to generate a full-time income with a much bigger audience. But that's the key, is they have a much bigger audience. So if you're starting out and you have a smaller audience, it's way better for you to dive into the higher touch, higher value one-to-one program, just from a pure revenue standpoint alone. But there's, again, additional benefits. If you have an audience of, let's say, 10,000 people, then definitely 2% of 10,000 is, what is that, 200? So take 200, right? The number of people who are in your network, 2% of them are going to actually end up buying from you. Take that 200, multiply that by 100, and you get $20,000, right? But that is significantly different because you have to have that traction already built, and that's where it comes from. And so a lot of the people that are selling these courses to teach you how to create your, passive income online course, they're either teaching you how to do that without recognizing the fact that you have a much smaller audience than they might have had after they built up their audience after years and years and years and then launched an online course, or they're also trying to teach you how to build that audience. And usually the process of building that audience involves, ads, paying some money in order to make money. That is not my process, but I also don't teach you about how to create a low-priced online course. I teach you how to create high-value, high-touch coaching programs that will really help you generate income even in these early days without spending money on ads and things like that, because I don't think that that is necessary. And I think you actually get even more additional benefits from doing those high-touch, high-value programs, which is what I want to talk about next. So in my opinion, you get way more bang for your buck, not only in terms of the income that comes in from offering a high-touch coaching program, one-to-one coaching program, but you get more bang in terms of really understanding and knowing your ideal client. You're able to get a different level of engagement from your client. You're able to actually breed those real life-changing results and get those testimonials from your client. And eventually you're able to identify the perfect program that maybe you can turn into a more passive product in the future. But in this process of building out your high touch program, you're also able to build that traction because you're going to be doing the work that brings on even more followers or even more people into your network who are interested in working with you. And so when you do eventually find yourself, needing to remove yourself from the equation because you do have too many one-to-one clients, then it's really easy to make that transition because you also have the traction, you also have the audience or the network or the community that you've built in building your one-to-one program. Plus, you much more deeply know their needs, their wants, their desires, their fears, their pains, their goals, and you have the testimonials to back it up. So it's just like a beautiful way to build your scalable, sustainable coaching business without trying to launch your passive income course to a very small group of people who just inevitably only a small percentage of them will turn into clients, and it's not going to put a very big cash injection into your business. So then you get discouraged and then you think, what's the point? That was really hard. And then you ultimately give up, or you try, to do it again, reinventing the wheel and creating an entirely new business or an entirely new program. Okay. So I want to dive into some of those benefits that I did just share there. The bang for your buck that's not just about the money, but that is about even further deeply understanding. So on the onset, when you build a one-to-one, higher value, higher touch coaching program, you're able to get to know your ideal clients on a much deeper level. And this is going to give you a peek and give you so much more insight into their fears, their pain points, and their goals, and their wants, and their desires, and their needs, and all of that good stuff. And what that delivers for you is priceless, because it gives you so many topics and points that you can make in your marketing so that you can attract even more people just like your ideal clients. It's going to help you resonate with people more on the public side of things, as well as behind the scenes when you are delivering your coaching. And so you're going to find even more clients who are going to be attracted to you, who are going to want to hire you. So that's really good. What you're also going to be able to do is tweak your actual program so that it matches up even more specifically with your ideal client's needs. And you're able to fill in any of the gaps that might be there when you initially launch the program, and just make the program even better and more effective. And that's going to serve you really well in the future when maybe you're no longer able to deliver one-to-one coaching because you are maxed out with your capacity, and you need to switch into more of a group system. And then eventually you might do a passive online course, but that obviously comes over time. In the meantime, because you so intimately know your ideal clients' deep desires, deep fears, deep needs, deep pains, all of those good things, again, you're growing your network and community publicly beyond those who are specifically working with you and paying to work with you. What you're also able to do, because you're able to continue to tweak and develop and improve your program, you're able to create even better results. And when you work with someone one-on-one, so many things happen. First and foremost, if they're paying you a higher dollar amount, which they probably are compared to a low touch online course, they're going to show up entirely differently. My favorite quote is, people who pay attention. Right? You have to have people with skin in the game. And when they have skin in the game, they're going to show up differently. They're also going to show up differently because you're probably requiring them to show up. You're holding them accountable through offering one-to-one coaching. You have a set time and a set date. You probably have goals that they're trying to reach, or small tasks and sprints that they need to do between your coaching sessions, which is going to make them actually be accountable to the things that they have committed to. That is, again, super powerful for you because they're actually going to get the results. When they actually get the results, they can provide you with testimonials that then either qualify or quantify the value that you provide in your one-to-one program, which you can then use publicly to attract even more people into your program. Right? This stuff is magic, but we just disregard it for so many reasons, because we jump to a year or 3 years from now thinking, that's not going to be sustainable. Why even try? Right? And we have to stop tripping over the start line. That's what I ultimately, say that this assumption is doing for us is it's causing us to trip over the start line by automatically going, oh, well, that's not going to be long-term sustainable, so I might as well not even try it now. Because there are so many bigger benefits that come from doing one-to-one high-value coaching that you won't even get if you just try to launch an online course. And I say this from experience because I was there, honey. I did it. I made every mistake in the book, and it hurt me. It hindered me, and it took me way longer to build a sustainable, full-time money coaching business that I felt like, oh, I know how to scale this beyond where I'm at now. Okay, so you get better results. You get that proof of concept, you're able to get the social proof and share that, and then you're building your business, not only because you do, make more money selling higher value program when you have a smaller audience, but then in the process of really understanding your ideal clients, you're able to then put that into your marketing, which serves the public, which then creates even more traction on the external part of your business, not just in the coaching aspect, okay? And then you're able to much more deeply and better improve your actual program, which ultimately, once you do get to the point where you have too many clients that you don't know what to do with, you can very easily transition yourself out and do more of a group type of practice. And then ultimately, once you get to, a much more higher level and you have all of that traction and that much bigger network, you can then graduate into, okay, now I'm going to take this and offer it as an online course because I know people can get the results without me actively being there and helping them. So this is where I recommend all of my clients to start, because what you miss out on when you don't offer high level, high touch one-to-one coaching is not only just that you can actually start to make a livable wage on the onset, but you also miss out on all of the deeper understandings of your ideal clients and making an even better program for them. And if you're already worrying about the sustainability, then you're making the wrong assumptions at the wrong time. And you're making the same mistake that I did starting out. And I don't want you to have to make that mistake because it's a long road if you decide to go down that path. So I hope this helps you understand the difference between offering a $100 passive course and a $1,000 program. And before you sit down and do all the math and try to figure out what it's going to take, just know that there is so much value and it is possible for you. And I know another thing you might be doing, especially if you are sitting down and doing the math, is going, well, I might have to charge more than $1,000 for my one-to-one program in order for me to make a sustainable living, which is why you want to automatically go to, the passive online course and then just get more people in the door. And that's a piece that we're definitely going to touch on in a future episode, because pricing is such a huge sticking point for my clients, especially when it comes to money coaching. And there's so many key things that you need to know about pricing that can really help you see that, don't assume that, people who need help with money aren't willing to pay to get help with money. That's a bad assumption to make right out of the gate. And B, when you decide who specifically you can serve and you can develop your expertise and your authority in that space, your value increases so much that it is inevitable. You're going to be able to create a higher level, higher valued product or program than what I think you might initially be thinking. So if you need some help when it comes to pricing, I do have an online coach's pricing workbook. It is amazing, if I do say so myself, but I've had so many people go through it and download it and they absolutely love it. It's offered at the very, very low price of $27, and you can get it by going to wanderwealthy.com/workbook. Take a look through it, check it out, and then I also invite you to hop on the Wealthy Coach Blueprint waitlist, because like I said, this is exactly what I help you do. I help you build your life-changing coaching program that is going to get you into the business model of eventually building out that multi-six-figure online passive income course. But don't trip over the start line, because doing one-to-one coaching is super valuable. And you might even decide that you can provide so much value in exchange for the results that you get your clients. You actually don't even need to create a passive income online course. So don't discredit and don't disregard this idea of doing a higher value, one-to-one, super intimate coaching program and making that offer to your clients, because there's so much more, even beyond the money, that you get out of it, and so much more that your clients actually get out of it too. So if you want to learn more about the blueprint and get on the waitlist so that you can build your life-changing program and know exactly how to target and market to your dream clients, head to wanderwealthy.com/apply and jump on the waitlist. And I will make sure that you are the very first to know when enrollment opens again in August. All right, that is what I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you have any questions at all, go ahead and add me on Instagram. I'm at Tess_Wicks, and you can send me a DM asking me any and every question you have about this episode. I would love to start the discussion there, and I can't wait to chat with you then. Until next week, I hope you wander wealthy.